IND, or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and we're pleased to be joined by Indiana Senator, Republican Mike Braun. Senator Braun, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to be on.
So should President Trump be deciding what his last meal should be?
Well, I think do you think he thought about that right after he got elected back in 2016? I mean, it is something, especially in this last rendition of trying to impeach the president. And here, what surprised me mostly is that the report that this was all based upon, a hearsay whistleblower report, didn't even hit the pavement, and they already initiate the impeachment inquiry. It reminds me of how anxious they were when the new season for electing a president here in 2020 started, and they came out with all their craziness about the Green New Deal, Medicare for all, free college tuition, get rid of the Electoral College. They don't understand that every time that happens, there's probably only 15 to 20% in the middle that are going to decide this election. How do you think they're going to calculate when they have to make a decision to vote? I think due to the fact that from day one, they could not get over the fact that an outsider entrepreneur actually got in to be president, kind of the same thing I did when I ran the gauntlet and became senator. You don't get over it. And I think when they play their card so in advance of whatever the material is they're talking about, it looks foolish. And this one fell with a thud more than anything they've done before. And I think it's going to just really grill into the minds of voters that are still making up their minds. Why are they doing this? The fact that they've tried to do it from the get-go. And is it, divert attention away from a platform that looks like that could do them in on its own? So to me, it's a litany that keeps repeating itself. I hope voters are smart enough to see through it.
Well, Senator, this morning the whistleblower report has been declassified. Actually, was last night. Have you had a chance to read it yet?
I have not, because I read the transcript and all of that yesterday, and I'm anxious to do so. And I'm guessing it's going to be somewhat of a version of what we saw yesterday. Of course, I'll look at it on its merits, but to me, I think the foundation of it, an anonymous hearsay whistleblower report, what court would that stand up in anywhere?
It's going to be ripped from the pages of the New York Times op-ed section. I mean, it's just incredible. But I want to go back to the transcript. Your colleague Mitt Romney said he found the contents of the transcript of the phone call deeply troubling. What was your reaction to it?
Well, I think we know where Mitt has been from day one on any Trump issue, and I think Ben Sasse might have stepped forward with a comment yesterday. 2 out of 53. Of course, I don't really think that most Republicans here view this as anything other than a repeat of what's been occurring, since the day President Trump got elected. And I think the whole fact that the House, the Mueller report ended up as a disaster for them. They thought that was going to be the final blow. And I think we're going to see this kind of thing occur right into November of 2020. And I do believe voters will be smart enough to see that that's not what it's going to take to win an election. And I think they're playing into Trump's hands in a way to where it's going to make what's going to be a tight election tip it over to his side.
Former advisor to Romney and to George W., Mike Murphy was on MSNBC. Now, I can see that he's...
I saw that clip, by the way.
Yeah, I can see that he's a dope, all right? So I can see that up front.
Get that out of the way.
But he suggested, forget his analysis. What he suggested, he said that one Republican senator told him that if the vote to convict and remove him from office took place in the Senate, if it could be anonymous, 30 Republican senators would vote to convict and remove him from office Do you think that's true?
I would wonder how long that establishment senator has been here, number one, and no, that is not true. Any Republican here, even if they didn't maybe like the fact that President Trump made it through the gauntlet in the Republican primary, ended up winning it, based upon what has occurred from the Jobs and Tax Cut Act, from almost the rollback of regulations, the fact that we had a crazy rule called WOTUS, and I'm a conservationist involved in farming. That kind of stuff got into such overdrive during the Obama administration's 8 years. You don't hear anything about it, and all Republicans here know that. They may kind of think in that direction because he's a disruptor, he's rocking the boat, but on the merits, they know differently.
And the reaction from some of your colleagues in the House, a letter signed by Mike McCall, the ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, 18 other members, Republican members of that committee. He concludes, the transcript released yesterday shows unequivocally there was no quid pro quo. He also goes on to say the Democrat manufactured crisis has consumed Congress, and no one is more pleased about than Vlad Putin. Intentional or not, Democrats are literally following the Russian president's playbook.
Well, when they do this, they're not doing anything on their legislative calendar in the House. We had a chance to actually do some things with health care. I reformed it in my own business 11 years ago, making it consumer-driven, getting employees with skin in the game. Great things can happen if you tackle problems and stay focused on it. And when you had 80 senators, weigh in with their idea how to fix an industry, we've got 3 bills out there through 3 separate committees. That's what Hoosiers are interested in. That's what Americans are interested in, not this constant litany of trying to relitigate the 2016 election. So not only playing into Putin's hands, it's painting an ugly picture for most people in the middle out there that will decide this election, that this is just more of what disappointed them before Trump got here. So I believe this plays in Trump's favor politically, but you're right, we'll get nothing done in the meantime because it occupies the energy, eats up all the oxygen in the room.
He is Republican Indiana Senator Mike Braun. Senator Braun, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to be on. Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Famous conservative